In 2018, there were 67,000 drug overdose deaths in the United States. 70% of these overdoses involve the use of opioids. Nearly one-third of these deaths involve the use of prescription opioids. And these were statistics gathered by the CDC and the National Center on Health Statistics. Now, opioids are very dangerous drugs, and although they are very effective, they come at a price. They're also very addictive, and tolerance can develop very easily for them. And although most opioid-related deaths involve using them illegally, today I want to focus on the one-third of these deaths that do involve using them legally. And to be clear, I'm not saying you shouldn't use opioids. In fact, I've had to get a couple prescriptions myself in the past. When I was 15 years old, I broke my wrist in a football game, and I was prescribed morphine for the pain. 1 year later, I had my wisdom teeth removed, and I was prescribed hydrocodone for the pain. So there are plenty of cases where opioid prescriptions can be justified. Okay, what I want to tell you today is that they are highly addictive, and I think that by telling you that they're highly addictive and why they're addictive can make you act more carefully when it comes to handling these medications. So in this speech, I'll present the audience with the myths versus realities of using opioids, how use can become abuse, and how abuse can turn into abusing more drugs till eventually the worst happens. Now, the first item I want to address is the myths versus the realities of using opioids. So according to an article published by the New England Journal of Medicine, authored by Michael Barnett, MD, a common myth when it comes to opioids is that you cannot become addicted to them if you only use them for short periods of time. Anyone can become addicted to them even if you only use them once. Another myth regarding opioids is that they're the most effective drugs for treating pain. There's actually very little evidence that this is true. In fact, according to Dr. Barnett's studies, NSAIDs consistently performed just as well as opioids when it came to treating pain. But the reason that NSAIDs like ibuprofen, aspirin, naproxen, the reason they don't work as well for a lot of these people is because they've been taking them their whole lives and they've kind of built up this tolerance for them, right? So the second item I want to address is that use can become abuse. So according to a study done by a PhD researcher named Theodore Cicero of the Washington University, 80% of heroin addicts first became addicted to opioids before they switched to heroin. Also, 75% of opioid abusers took their first opioid as when they had a legal prescription for it, and then they became abusers. So let's go back to the 80% of heroin addicts. Why did they turn to heroin when they had a prescription for opioids? It's probably because they developed a tolerance for it and had to get some stronger stuff to make their pain go away. All right, now let's go to my last point. Those who abuse opioids typically take more than just opioids to treat their pain. And this is according to that same author, Theodore Cicero, in a different paper that he published. All right. So according to this paper, people who are recovering from opioid drug abuse at a treatment center, on average, before they were admitted, they had taken 4 other drugs in the past month along with their opioids. That's how out of control that their opioid addiction had gotten. Now let's use Tom Petty for an example here. According to the LA County Coroner's Office, Tom Petty had traces of fentanyl, oxycodone, temazepam, which is a sleep medication, Xanax, and Celexa, which is a common anti-anxiety medication. But let's think about this. He had fentanyl and oxycodone in his system. If one of those cannot take away your pain, then clearly there's a problem there. You've built up too high of a tolerance. And this combination of drugs is what the autopsy report said was the cause of Tom Petty's death. Now, prescription opioids are a big cause of the opioid epidemic that's currently going on in the United States. And although they are effective for treating pain, they have a poor safety profile. they're very highly addictive, and tolerance can very easily develop for these drugs. I don't believe, most doctors don't believe that they should be the first choice of drugs when it comes to treating chronic pain, that they should only be used as a last resort when all other options have failed. Okay. Now, again, I'm not saying you should never use opioids, only when all other options have failed or during acute to treat short-term acute periods of chronic pain, like a broken wrist, or if you just got out of surgery or something like that.